If you're ready to hit the track in the iRacing Ford FR500S Mustang, then sign up for the Barber Ford Mustang Club today. With great prizes from our awesome sponsors, this league is fast, fun, and best of all, free to race in. Take on 6 races of wheel-to-wheel action, all broadcasted live on Pit Stop TV. As a member, you will receive a $500 voucher to Barber Ford, plus entry into a raffle for a brand new Fanatec H-pattern shifter. Every point you earn on the track is 1 entry into the raffle, meaning you can race your way into a brand new Fanatec shifter drawn on December 15th. Battle your competitors at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, Brands Hatch, and for the finale, Lime Rock Park. Join the Barber Ford Mustang Club at League ID 3350 today. If you're ready to hit the track in the iRacing Ford FR500S Mustang, then sign up for the Barber Ford Mustang Club today. With great prizes from our awesome sponsors, this league is fast, fun, and best of all, free to race in. Take on 6 races of wheel-to-wheel action, all broadcasted live on Pit Stop TV. As a member, you will receive a $500 voucher to Barber Ford, plus entry into a raffle for a brand new Fanatec H-pattern shifter. Every point you earn on the track is 1 entry into the raffle, meaning you can race your way into a brand new Fanatec shifter drawn on December 15th. Battle your competitors at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, Brands Hatch, and for the finale, Lime Rock Park.
Lime Rock Park is an ode to a time of motorsport long past. It's an ode to what used to be and how racetracks used to be built, and so too is the Mustang to an ode to an older time in American motorsport where you could get away with putting a big V8 in a street car and going racing. You can still do it to a point, but it's never ever been as successful as the Ford Mustang, and this Ford Mustang FR500S on iRacing is just that much more fun. Street tires, big power under the hood, and a whole lot of smiles behind the wheel. We're here this evening for round number 6 of the Barber Ford Mustang Club, and ready to go racing from the virtual Lime Rock Park. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. Welcome to the final round of 6 over the course of 6 months. I'm going to preface this evening by just saying I am a little under the weather. A throat bug popping up on me earlier this week, and it sounds like I'm not the only one, because Dustin Slider not here this evening. Unfortunately, he is under the weather, definitely affecting the car count a little bit this evening, I'd say. So we might have a moment or two where we turn things over to the sound of the cars and maybe a side-by-side. Admittedly, very much a swollen throat this evening as we go racing for round number 6. Let's take a look at our track map here at the virtual Lime Rock Park. It's still a good day to be out here racing, of course. Down the Stamposi straight into Big Bend at turns 1 and 2. The left-hander, the right bender, 3 and 4. That heads you down the no-name straight into turn 5, the uphill, which thankfully we are on the classic configuration this evening. That is a very, very good thing. We don't need any Grand Prix chicane mess at turn 5 or turn 6 at West Bend, which of course brings you around and down the hill into the downhill at turn number 7. That all said, how about point standings? And again, this is where things will be a little bit, I got to take a sip, it feels like, a sip of water between graphics here. But of course, Kevin Parrish has this championship wrapped up by a mile, a few country miles. 502 points is the advantage for Kevin Parrish coming into this evening. Logan Keys 502 back and not here, so that gap will only grow. Dustin Slider, Rafael Franco not here, so Blair Patterson could very much jump into third place in this championship, as he is here this evening in his number 91. David Trumbull not here tonight. Neither is Austin Knight or Ryan Lange or Phil Keck, but we do, I believe, yes, we have Chuck Lomano in car number 11. The schedule this season has definitely run its course from July all the way into December. Here on December 8th in the classic layout at the virtual Lime Rock Park, ready to get racing for 45 minutes as per usual all season long. Standard kind of layout and race details have not changed at all. 45-minute race open setup. Base setups provided by Makoti Setup Shop, thanks to them. Unlimited tires, 100% fuel, 17 incident limit. There are cars on the racetrack, as you can see in the background. Before we go down to qualifying an upcoming look, I guess a look at what we have upcoming at Pit Stop TV as far as our next few broadcasts. We may have something cooking for Sunday evening, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we are next on air on Tuesday evening, December the 12th, with Lucky Motorsport Solutions Street Stocks at Hickory Motor Speedway at 9:15 Eastern. Then we follow that up with the first round of the North American Racing League in their new season of GT3 Racing, as we head out to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, followed up by a trip to Lanier for the Lucky Motorsports Street Stocks on December 19th. On the racetrack currently, Ed Sancinelli is listed as number 1 in qualifying because nobody has set a time just yet. There we go, Blair Patterson at the top of the board, quickly followed by David Fernandez in the Ford Performance number 8. We'll take a quick look around the field. There's Fernandez. How about Blair Patterson out of Carolina? Ed Sancinelli out of the Northwest. Mike Nickham this evening out of the Mid-South. Scott Brooks up into the second spot from Canada. Love this paint scheme. This is a really just classic looking. I think it's a bit different from what he ran last time out, but this is just such a cool car. This is how a Mustang livery should be done. This is really, really well done. John Casey here this evening in car number 78, kind of matching Ed Sanchinelli. And how about David Fench making his first start this season in the number 12 Motorcraft Ford Mustang, joining us this evening from the Production Car Challenge Discord. Good to have you here, David. Glad to see you from New Jersey. Matt Thompson this evening, another one of those Frito Sport drivers, the number 33 car with that chrome green. Love that look. And, ooh, Mike Nickham slipping through the cracks. No, actually, who was it that just went out? Jeff Baynard, there we go, out of Australia. But unfortunately, does not load his club graphic in the bottom right, but that's okay. How about Chuck Labano out of Canada? He's currently in the pit lane. Should be headed to the track soon, I'd imagine. And here we go, Kevin Parrish, this season's champion, on track as well in car number 69. He's going to have an opportunity to go for one more pole position and one more checkered flag. He's got 3 this season. He's batting at least 500 in a go, maybe, for, oh, I gotta do the math. Oh no, 63, I guess, 62, next 25. And Parrish, a 56.454 out the gate. The world record here at a Mustang, and I'm sure this was set builds ago, was a 54 in change. We can bring that graphic back up. The track map has it, a 54. Hang on, where is it? 54.187 set by Craig Barton out of Australia. Let's go on board and just listen to Kevin Parrish and what he's doing. That lap goes down as a 56.438. No lap record, but certainly not a slow time. And weather conditions are going to have an impact too. 77.8 degrees in the air, but 112 on track. It is a toasty afternoon in the virtual Lakeville, Connecticut. Bench will head to the pit lane, and that completes a lap on board of Kevin Parrish across the line. What's it going to be? 55 high, 55 maybe, 56.197. Picks up a big chunk of time over David Fench in car number 12. Will jump back in line. Third place currently the Aussie. Jeff Baynard coming around the downhill. He has a chance here to go a bit faster. That might be an off track, but he's sticking with it. The line, it's a 56, a lower 56 maybe, or identical nearly. And it didn't count. Looks like he went off track somewhere. Matt Thompson, position number 4, car number 33, with 8 minutes left to go in qualifying. Good to see these guys getting light over the uphill. A lot of cars with bigger rear wings, they don't get so light. Even though they might be going a little bit faster, the rear wing holds them down to the racetrack. These guys, they're getting late for sure, and the back ends just kick out a little bit, and Thompson off the racetrack. Fench right behind him keeps it on, and there we go. Parrish down to a 56.0. He's getting closer to breaking into the 55s. Fench that lap a bit slower. And David Fernandez, the 57.7. He's also been a part of this series, I believe, for a couple of rounds, but coming over from Production Car Challenge action as well on those Monday nights with us for the course of 2023 season number 4. Now, unfortunately, that broadcast slot will go open for 2024 season number 1, the way it looks. Not able to renew that deal, I suppose, or secure funding. John Casey, though, out of the downhill. He's got Kevin Parrish just behind, so no pressure, but Parrish will duck out down the Samposi straight, and Casey will pick up a little bit, a 57.4, as Parrish breaks into the 55s, and he's still I think, got a ways to go in that Ford Mustang as he keeps burning fuel off and warming these tires up. I think he's only going to get faster. Also worth mentioning, as you look around the circuit, you might notice some new vegetation, some 3D grass that's been added to the Lime Rock Park here in the sim, along with Mugello that was just dropped this past Wednesday, and Okayama, which was refreshed this past Wednesday. So a few tracks getting this new vegetation system that is now joining tracks like Sebring. Sebring and Willow Springs, I believe, are the only two to have it previously. So really cool to add Lime Rock Park to that list of tracks that have this 3D vegetation system. There aren't many, but Lime Rock is now one of them. Six minutes to go in qualifying. Finch, the highest car that is on the racetrack currently, as Parrish takes to the pit lane. Fernandez up to third. Baynard just 3/1000ths behind Fernandez time. That'll be an off track there for David Finch. Cross that lap off. Fernandez then, back here in car number 8, just came up the uphill. Think about that one for a second. Came over the uphill. There we go. Now into West Bend. That might be an off track. That's close. Just a downhill left to go. 5 minutes left. He's still got time to run a few more laps. As does everyone. Everybody can pit right now and still get enough laps in to warm their tires up. Fernandez across the line does not pick up. Meanwhile, Jeff Baynard at the left-hander, now the right-hander, that's off the racetrack. Ed Sancinelli, haven't seen much of the 257 since the start of the broadcast, but here he is from the 5th position in qualifying with a damaged left side of his car. That's not going to help him. And Scott Brooks back here about a second off of pace, at least pole position pace. There's an onboard with him inside the car. And not just that, inside the helmet. That's not how you want to do that at the uphill. Not sure how he managed that. He chucked it in and it broke free. Pretty big time. Chuck Labano, no time yet here in qualifying. Looks like he may opt not to qualify. But hey, here's Kevin Parrish back on the racetrack. Sancinelli light over the uphill. And while these laps wind down in qualifying, a big thank you certainly goes out to Barber Ford, BK Paints, and Admin Box. 3 groups bringing you this coverage all season long. And, initially it was touted as a 2-broadcast, 6-race kind of season. We weren't going to cover all 6 races, just the opening couple of rounds at Charlotte and Watkins Glen. Then there was a lot of hype behind it, those first few races. Now, as you might expect with 6-month seasons, with only 1 race a season, definitely some drivers had priorities changing, and unfortunately, more had to step away than were introduced, which happens sometimes in sim racing. But I think there was still a lot of energy from the Mustang lovers on the sim, and certainly I think a season number 2 with some changes from lessons learned would really, really be a cool thing to see on the sim, and we're all hoping for that in 2024. Gotta catch my breath, as I mentioned. Under the weather, not enjoying the swollen throat today. Finch still second. Baynard has moved up to the third position in qualifying, edging out Fernandez and Sancinelli. Ed Sancinelli now to the fourth position. Fernandez dropping down to fifth. Only a minute and a half left in the session to begin a lap time. I'm surprised Sancinelli has not yet pitted. Here comes Brooks, a beeline down the front stretch. Was this a clean lap for car number 149 across the line? It was clean, just not faster. The 56.971, about a tenth off of his best, will end his qualifying run, unfortunately. Thompson still has some headroom, and look at Kevin Parrish. Big, bad car number 69, going fastest by even more. He's got, well, over half a second as Finch just went across the line and picked up a handful of time. It was nearly 7/10 that Parrish had on the rest of the field. Finch still has an opportunity to go faster, as does Parrish. That was loose over the uphill. He might have something, though. Could he go even faster? A 55.7, maybe. Out to the curbing at West Bend and down to the downhill. This is such a fast piece of racetrack. Of course, maybe the fastest on the racetrack. And down to turn number 1 across the line. Is it faster? I think it was. No. By a hair. It goes down as a 55.916. For Finch, it's slower. Baynard's in the pits. How about Sancinelli out of the final corner? It's going to be a spin. Well, a half spin. Does Thompson maybe have something? He's coming around like he might. Maybe. He's committed through the downhill. And down to the front stretch, I would say he must have something if he's coming to the line under power. Not going to be faster. It is a bit slower, actually. Nearly a second slower from Matt Thompson, which means Kevin Parrish is your pole sitter. I don't think anybody is surprised. 500-point advantage over the rest of the field. Yeah, that kind of earns you the title of favorite. While we wait on the grid to get lined up, let's take a moment to listen to a message here from the Barber Ford Mustang Club.
If you're ready to hit the track in the iRacing Ford FR500S Mustang, then sign up for the Barber Ford Mustang Club today. With great prizes from our awesome sponsors, this league is fast, fun, and best of all, free to race in. Take on 6 races of wheel-to-wheel action, all broadcasted live on Pit Stop TV. As a member, you will receive a $500 voucher to Barber Ford, plus entry into a raffle for a brand new Fanatec H-pattern shifter. Every point you earn on the track is 1 entry into the raffle, meaning you can race your way into a brand new Fanatec shifter drawn on December 15th. Battle your competitors at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, Brands Hatch, and for the finale, Lime Rock Park. Join the Barber Ford Mustang Club at League ID 3350.
Welcome back to the virtual Lime Rock Park. You never really did leave, but we maybe took you away for a moment as we get ready to get racing. 45 minutes on the clock. Let's take you through the starting grid. Kevin Parrish on pole. David Finch starting from second place. Jeff Baynard will roll off from the third spot. The Aussie there down under in row number 2. Ed Santinelli grids up this evening in 4th position. David Fernandez 5th. Scott Brooks in the 6th spot. Row number 4, Matt Thompson, Mike Nickham. And to complete your field, John Casey, Blair Patterson, and finally, Chuck Lomano will join us at the back end of the grid this evening into the uphill and ready to go racing this next time by. One more look at your race details. Brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. 45-minute race, open setup, base setups provided by Maconi Setup Shop if drivers would like to use them. Unlimited tires, 100% fuel, and 17x incident limit for these drivers to stay within this evening. Weather conditions one final time, 77.7 in the air, a pretty lucky temperature, but the track temp pretty warm, 107 degrees on track, partly cloudy skies in the middle of the afternoon. It's a hot one in December down, well, I guess up in Connecticut, down the Zamposi straightaway and to the green flag. The final round of the Barber Ford Mustang Club, there we go, is green. The Barber Mustang Club. Couldn't get that one out. Anyways, green flag for these guys. Finch around Big Bend will lose position number 2 and move him back. The 3rd spot, Santinelli rolls into 4th, and everybody gets single file now, headed down the backstretch for the first time. Vegetation left, vegetation right. And Santinelli's got trouble here from Fernandez. This could be a good little fight for 4th and 5th. One car off. It's Baynard over the uphill. Just lost it a bit. He's going to drop now. It looks like maybe to the 3rd spot if Finch rather can take advantage, and he will not. So 1 lap complete. And I really thought that Finch would send it back by Baynard, who got loose there on lap 1. And now that's your fight for second as Parrish has checked out by 1.8 seconds in just 1 lap. Once again, thanks for joining me this evening at Pit Stop TV, the virtual Lime Rock Park on show for us this evening. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit under the weather. By a little bit, I mean quite a bit. A very swollen throat. Not super hard to breathe, but it's making it a little bit difficult. So, if you hear a little bit more engine noise and a little bit less talking, that is why. Regardless, thanks for joining along for this one. Some 45 laps, it looks like, expected in this race. Maybe 46 or 47, as we've got a battle for the 2nd position. Finch up the inside at turn 1, clears the 248 in turn 2, and moves Baynard back into the 3rd position, which means Santinelli can go back after him here. On board with Ed Santinelli, 4th position. No real change there on lap number 3. Parrish, though, keeps pulling away. 2.6 seconds. We'll let him live in his own zip code this evening. The rest of the field is oh so close, even back to Chuck Lomano and John Casey as they head through the first sector of lap number 4. Casey, though, has fallen back. 1.7 seconds back of Chuck Lomano. So maybe Casey's going to fall into his own zip code this evening, unfortunately. We still have battles elsewhere, in fact. Matt Thompson, Scott Banks, a good little battle up over the uphill. And now Santinelli and Baynard side by side. Baynard inside, Santinelli outside after the uphill and through West Bend. Down the hill now to turn number 7. And Santinelli backs out. That's going to open the door to Fernandez, who looks, now crosses the racetrack, and we've got ourselves a proper fight here in the midfield. Scott Brooks up the inside, making it 3 wide to the turn number 1. Oh, that was close. That was nearly contact. Santinelli turned in across a couple of noses. Ed said, no, I don't feel like losing a spot. Fernandez does, though. Or at least had to. That was some brilliant stuff. Maybe not how you should have done that in Ed's position, but hey, he's got 4th place and these guys don't. He's also out wide at the uphill. That's going to cause problems down to West Bend. He gets back in line now. But he is moving that car around, and anytime you shift the weight in this Mustang, it becomes that much harder to control. So Scott Brooks kind of looking on, licking his chops, an opportunity certainly. And here comes Matt Thompson down the front stretch. A big run on Fernandez. Looking to turn 1, and he's going to take it. Will he be able to hold on to it, though? No. Back up the inside goes Fernandez, and the Frito Sport 33 loses not 1, but 2 positions as Nickham gets the best of car number 33 and moves him back to Blair Patterson and company. Really cool scenic views now in iRacing at this Lime Rock Park. A lot of really cool updates here in the last couple of years have really refreshed the ambiance. It's been a free track for a long time, and for a long time it didn't look the greatest. It was one of the earliest scans on the sim. As of late, though, a lot of work been going into this particular facility in the sim, and I think it's becoming one of the kind of hallmark racetracks on iRacing.com for very good reason, as we're seeing this evening. With the right cars and the right drivers, this is one of the best racetracks you could draw up. Lobano goes on by Patterson. That's in turn 1. Meanwhile, Fernandez and Brooks, they battle for 5th. Fernandez squaring up for an opportunity down the front stretch. Back on Scott Brooks. He's going to have to wait. Not close enough there for turn 1. A couple of tenths back. These statics just look so good around this particular racetrack. It really has been a big transformation that Lime Rock Park has gone under. And I think has become a completely different track in some people's eyes. The sight lines are just second to none. The battling also very good so far this race, and Brooks kind of outbreaks into turn 5, and it works out. Fernandez chasing the car a little bit. Chuck Lobano, 1 car off. It's Matt Thompson through turns 1 and 2. Going off the racetrack, losing a couple of spots. He falls now to the 9th position. Just Blair Patterson and John Casey behind him. And Fernandez holds right on the back end of Scott Brooks. Meanwhile, up front, things have spaced out now. Kevin Parrish, the race leader, 6 seconds up on David Fench, who has his own little gap back to Jeff Baynard. Those two separated by a second on the racetrack, and Fench out wide there at turn number 6. He'll have to be careful of that. Only 17 incidents to play with. There's Baynard down the front stretch. Here's a nice little fight down into turn number 1. Maybe a look from Brooks, and yes, he will send it up the inside on Sancinelli. Brooks trying to take away the 4th position. Can't quite get it. Will he? Yes. Really good fight between these three. Fernandez wide at the left-hander at turn number 3. Tucks back in for turn 4. Sancinelli right back on Scott Brooks. Oh, and Brooks got light. Sancinelli got there. I think there might have been a little bit of contact. If not, the both of them got very, very squirrely. And now down the hill, is there an opportunity for the 257? No, he'll stay in behind. I wouldn't really consider passing in turn 7 unless you have to. So it's good to see these guys practicing a little bit of caution there. An opportunity here, though, from the number 8 car and a block from Sancinelli. Now, I love Ed Sancinelli, but the defense is starting to get a little bit aggressive. And anytime I see a block on a racetrack, my mind immediately goes to lending a bumper. They work down the no-name straight. I would say the back straightaway, realistically. Into the uphill. And look who is joining them. They get a 5-car fight. Mike Nickham, Chuck Lomano catching up. And Nickham rails sideways through West Bend. That was out there for sure. As these two battles continue on into the mid portion of this race, I'm going to step aside for a moment, catch my breath, drink some water, and hope to delay the inevitable. As yeah, the voice is struggling a bit. I appreciate anybody and everybody watching, whether it's live or after the fact. Is definitely a tough one from my position, although maybe we'll wait a moment. Sancinelli had a look there through turn 7. Thought maybe he was going to force the issue. He doesn't. And we'll go Pit Stop TV side by side for a couple of laps and be right back to you here shortly. This is just about the best racing you could ask for from a few Mustangs at Lime Rock Park. 4 or 5 cars all making passes in the last couple of laps. Sanchinelli stuck it up the inside last time around into the final corner on Scott Brooks. Couldn't make it stick, opened the door for Fernandez to go by, and he did exactly that. Meanwhile, Nickham briefly, actually did officially lose that spot to Chuck Labano, so 7th and 8th have swapped on the back end of this fight, and Nickham might get left behind, but I think Chuck Labano has got something for the 3 ahead as they cross the start-finish line in a very different order. Actually, now it's, I think, the same order as we saw a lap ago. Sanchinelli defending there for turn 1. Labano, his teammate, is on him. Fernandez falling a little bit back of Scott Brooks now in the opening portion of lap number 17. An expected 48 now on the docket for these drivers. You see Fench still in second. He's about 10 seconds back of race leader Kevin Parrish. Another 3-4 seconds back to Jeff Baynard. And look at this fight down into turn 1. Sanchinelli on the inside nearly had a peek there on Fernandez. Labano had to kind of move around in response to all of that. He loses some time, and here comes Mike Nickham right back into the fight. I think they might allow Scott Brooks to get away if they keep all of this up. Back up the hill there, 28 minutes to go. There'll be 30 laps to go, this time by the flag stand, a little bit less than a minute per lap. And sure enough, Brooks starting to pull away from the 8-car Fernandez, but that draft down the front stretch is a bit of a humdinger. You get a lot of time made up and certainly have some extra pace into turn 1, and now you're starting to see Mike Nickham fall back a little bit in car 57, but it's a matter of time until these guys get racing again like they are this time through Big Bend. Fernandez on the curbing through turns 1 and 2, looking for somewhere to go as Sanchinelli peeks up the inside, nearly makes some contact, and that 257 is getting more and more aggressive as these laps go by, both in defense and offense. Brooks is really good through the sweepers, turn 5, 6, and 7. But Fernandez makes it all back up, down the front stretch, and then through the whole first sector, turns 1, 2, 3, and even turn 4. It gets right on the back end of Brooks down the no-name straight. And then just has to kind of wait in behind for those fast sweepers. Now, he's going to get a bunch of time made back up on the front stretch. He's going to look, but he's not going to have anything for turn 1. But he's going to catch right back up. It's a cycle right now. That time, though, Fernandez a bit free through the left-hander, losing some time now to Scott Brooks. That has completely changed this dynamic and might open up a bit more of a gap between 4th and 5th, although right away, Fernandez catches back up into turn 5. And Nickham is caught back up to Sanchinelli and Labano. Where Patterson has gone 1 lap down, not sure why. Other than, well, he's lost a lap, obviously. He did visit the pit lane for a total of 41 seconds. Seems like he might have had to come in for a faster pair. Fernandez on Brooks. That's a look for sure to turn 1 this time by. And he will move on by at least for a moment. Fernandez clearing Scott Brooks for 4th spot. Sanchinelli couldn't make anything of it. He stays in behind in 6th. But swapping positions there, and Fernandez a bit wide and left-hander now, not getting away from Brooks just yet. It's not so easy. And Thompson is starting to close in on these guys. We might have a 6-car race for 4th position. Down the hill, turn 7. Less than 25 minutes to go. And Sanchinelli is looking for any kind of run he can get on Scott Brooks. It won't be this time by, but Ed has been very aggressive. He did lose a couple of spots actually since the start of the race. Qualified 4th, currently running 6th, but if he can get back by these two, I think that would make the day that much better and probably feel like a bit of a win for Ed, given the battle these guys have been in for a better portion of this race. I would say probably 20 of the 21 minutes elapsed. Here's an opportunity for Sanchinelli on the inside, maybe for West Bend. He backs out, but he was so close to having an overlap out of the uphill. I know I said Brooks was better through the sweepers, at least better than Fernandez. Sanchinelli might have something through the sweepers, at least at the uphill. He just seems like he's able to commit a little bit better, as Thompson was a bit squirrely there, and Brooks, feeling the pressure, moves over to defend for a moment. Sanchinelli looks at the inside, opens a door to Mike Nickum, and nearly some contact as 57 has recently gone back by Chuck Lomano. Quickly, here's a look at Blair Patterson in the McConey setup shot, number 91. He has unfortunately lost the lap. And race leader Kevin Parrish isn't too far back. He could make it 2 laps. Banks once again opening the door, this time big opening for Sanchinelli, and he's going to take it. Nickum going to try and fill that hole as well. Sanchinelli couldn't quite get away from Scott Brooks there at West Bend, but here through turn 7 really opens the door for Mike Nickum, and hello Scott Brooks. He's fallen back a little ways now, although he actually got a good run up in the final corner and hangs on to that spot over car 57, who looks back up the inside but is too far back for turn 1. I mean, these guys are really going after it and backing themselves away from David Fernandez in the process. So make this now a 5-car battle for the 5th position, falling back just a little ways. Out front, Kevin Parrish, he's led every single lap. And really uncontested today. May as well be in his own class. May as well be scored entirely separately from these guys when he is just the best. And maybe not the best in the Mustang, but the best that we see here in the Barber Ford Mustang Club. No competition this evening. Then there's everybody else back here. Again, this is 4th through 9th. I mean, you've got Fernandez, Sanchinelli, Brooks, Nickum, Lobano, and Thompson also close together. And Fernandez, yes, he's getting away. But now Sanchinelli and Brooks are starting to run their lap times as Mike Nickum has a couple of advances here from Chuck Lobano. Just a bit more space in this group now for the first time all night. As these laps wind down, another big thank you to Barber Ford, barberford.net, BK Paints on Facebook, and Admin Box supporting this series. There is a drawing happening next week, December the 15th, for a bunch of sim hardware. I know there's a Fanatic H-pattern shifter in that bunch. You've got to check out the League Discord for more information about it. But that drawing will be held next week, December 15th, to raffle off a whole bunch of hardware as a result of this long 6-month, but only 6 race season in the Barber Ford Mustang Club. And I think there's definitely some room for some spitballing, some brainstorming about what this Mustang Club could become, because I think this could be a lot more than just these occasional broadcasted races. I think Dustin Slider might be up to it. This could be a more formal and more frequent, maybe a little less formal actually, but more frequent kind of meeting between Mustang enthusiasts on the iRacing.com sim. Just go racing and have some fun. And occasionally still get a broadcast in here and there as with everybody working through the early portions of lap number 27, nearly, well, just over 20 laps to go. Make it 21 laps to go across the line, thereabouts. 19 and a half minutes for the driver, 14 seconds up on David Fench. And David, a recent addition to the series, we know him here at Pit Stop TV from Production Card Challenge this past season in iRacing, 2023 season number 4. Good to see him here this evening. Back in third spot, Jeff Baynard. In position number 3, car number 248, though. Almost said 2048. That's not it. The lone Australian here this evening, and one of the few in this series, I believe. Aussies and Mustangs seem to work together because Benjamin Roberts went off to win, by a large margin, win the Production Card Challenge Mustang Championship this past season that we covered. And Jeff Baynard, apparently, not too far behind. He's pretty good here in this Mustang as well, running third position, uncontested currently. Then you've got Fernandez and Sancinelli, and this is a proper fight for the fourth position now. Sancinelli driving away from Scott Brooks. Mike Nickham right on the back end of Scott Brooks there through turn 1. Really getting close. Once more, while these guys have about 17 and a half minutes to go, we're going to go Pit Stop TV side by side. I got to save my voice here for the ending. Appreciate those of you sticking with it. I got to save my voice for the end of this race. I think it's going to be a whole lot more fun between these guys in the midfield. As, Nickham goes off the racetrack a little bit. You won't miss a thing on the left side of your screen. Pit Stop TV side by side coming up. Welcome back to the virtual Lime Rock Park. Thanks for joining us at Pit Stop TV. 13 minutes to go in the Barber Ford Mustang Club season. I hate that this has been kind of an abbreviated broadcast as far as my voice goes, but I once again appreciate those of you watching, whether it's live or after the fact. This has been a challenging one, swollen throat, but hey, that's okay. We have got really good racing, which is the perfect remedy for not feeling well. This is really, I mean, it's distracting me from how I feel for the most part. If I wasn't talking, at least, I'd be pretty well distracted. Really good battle here. Scott Brooks, Mike Nickum, but that's not all. Jeff Baynard has fallen back to David Fernandez. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th, a great fight. 6th, 7th, and 8th, a great fight. And throw in 9th just because. That's Matt Thompson. 7 cars in 2 really good battles. And here goes Mike Nickum on Scott Brooks. That is good for 6th position. Move car 57 up a spot. Now Fernandez and Sancinelli as Lobano takes a look at Brooks. And he is going to almost have that spot. How about turn 4? Maybe an opportunity for Lobano. Brooks stuck on the outside there. Almost some contact between those two. And Brooks will win out. Lobano falls back into the clutches of Matt Thompson, his teammate. Further up, Fernandez right on the back end of Jeff Baynard. I mean, this is really, really close between these two. Sancinelli not far back. And Jeff had driven away from this bunch. He was a couple of seconds up on everybody else, but Fernandez trying to run away from Ed, who was trying to, of course, chase Fernandez. These guys have closed in on the 248 car, and I wonder if there wasn't a mistake from the Aussie as well, as Fernandez has got the edge there, gets to the inside of the 248, and we've got ourselves a side-by-side for 3rd, a position change for a moment, and now Sancinelli is up the inside. And he backs out. Lobano has gone by Brooks, and his tires must be gone. He is just dropping like a rock. He was at one point 4th position, going for 3rd. And just continues to drop through this field. Here we go, nose to tail, Fernandez and Sancinelli. I think there might have been contact there. As they run through West Bend, 10.5 minutes to go. This will be 12 laps remaining. Oh, Sancinelli, big time on the curbing there. Baynard still trying to defend. He's got 3 cars bearing down on him as the 57 of Nickum has caught up, making it a 4-car fight, all for the 3rd position, the final position on the podium. And Sancinelli out wide. That backs up Nickum as well. They've spread back out. Although Brooks and Thompson stay glued to one another. Real close there between Fernandez and Sancinelli. They both got close to the car ahead at Jeff Baynard. Look how close they are into the left-hander at turn number 3. And Fernandez trying to get back to the throttle, and he's trying to get there. Trying to find any way by. This line of cars, let's see, from 3rd to 9th, realistically. This is now 7 cars in a line, all racing for just a couple of positions. Now, Brooks and Thompson have fallen back, and Thompson goes off into the dirt there at turn 7. Baynard going to have to defend, and that means Fernandez goes up the inside briefly, or the outside rather, and he's still there. That'll be the inside for the left-hander. Fernandez might have something here. He goes out wide, though, lost the back end for a moment. Look how close they are there. David Fernandez slotting back in. Sancinelli still 5th. And Mike Nickum still sitting there in the 6th position. 8 minutes to go. And they'll come around to take 8 laps to go this time by. Hello, Fernandez out wide, nearly clipping our static camera there. Opens the door for a moment on Sancinelli. Sancinelli can't quite stick his foot in. I mean, it's rinse repeat between these guys. One driver makes a mistake, the door is nearly open, but the respect between all of them has been second to none. No big moves, no big dive bombs. Keeping it clean for 40 minutes so far, and Sancinelli now has an opportunity. He will stay back on Fernandez and actually backs Nickum back up to Chuck Labano. And Fernandez is going to go after the 248 on his own, apparently. Here we go. Good opportunity for Fernandez. This might be the one. Going to go side by side at the uphill. That's always scary. No! Fernandez backs out. Baynard makes a mistake on his own. He goes wide. Gets back on the racetrack. Fernandez on the inside. Backs out. And once again, Baynard allowed to keep his position. Sancinelli is there. Side by side now with Fernandez, who briefly moves over in the braking zone. And here's the open door now for Mike Nickum as all 7 of these cars have packed up. And Sancinelli gets a bit squirrely. Up the inside, that's that is Nickum looking on Labano, trying to take that spot back away. He will, and a big move there from Thompson on Brooks, and that is good for the position. Meanwhile, 36 seconds ahead of these drivers, just 6 minutes to go for Kevin Parrish. He's not so far back from lapping that bunch. If they keep slowing themselves down, it'll be a reality sooner than later. Fernandez, a big move, and he sticks back out of it. These guys keep crossing up, trying to get to the inside, but they won't send it. Again, tons of respect. Fernandez, a big send there in turn 1. He'll send it as long as Baynard isn't next to him. And here we go, a moment there at the left-hander. Fernandez nearly got there. They just don't want to use the cars against each other. Don't want to make any contact. They both run out wide at turn 4. Baynard out wide again at the uphill. Comes back on the racetrack, no problem. Scott Brooks off in the dirt behind him. Baynard was free. And these guys now about 40 seconds back of Kevin Parrish. He's coming around the mountain, boys, and here we go, side by side, finally. Fernandez alongside of the 248, and he might go ahead and make this one stick to turn number 1, and he will go for it. Baynard out way wide, and he is going to be in the dirt, losing positions. He's going to fall all the way back and make contact with, I think, was that Nickum he got into? Yes, now he comes over, nearly takes out Scott Brooks. What a catch by the 248 of Jeff Baynard to stay off of everybody. That was impressive. Now the fight for third, Fernandez and Sancinelli, all on their lonesome. These two have been so close to one another all race long. Now within 4 minutes to go, they'll come around and take 4 laps to go this time by. A block from Thompson. Might have just been kind of moving around, floating around the racetrack a little bit. Well, he will actually go down and defend it in turn 1. Scott Brooks looks up the outside. Can't do anything. I'm not sure where the next move is going to come, but you've got 3 different 2-car battles within 6 cars in a row. 3rd through 8th. Kevin Parrish out front. He has just taken 4 laps to go. Maybe 3. We'll see. David Finch, all in his lonesome, 20 seconds behind the race leader, but 20 seconds ahead of Fernandez and Sancinelli. These guys still engrossed in this fight. This for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And side by side, we'll go cars 57 and 11 down to turn number 1. 11, Lobano up the inside, and he almost has that position for himself. Nickham will have to give it up. Clean pass there by Chuck Lobano. That's good for 5th. Sancinelli might now have a pusher behind him, a teammate. Chuck Lobano gets right up to the 5th position behind Sancinelli. 2 minutes to go for these guys. Parrish has come by to take 3 laps to go and will lap Jeff Baynard. So he is moving up to this bunch very, very quickly. That should be 3 laps to go for these drivers, maybe 2. We'll have to see when Parrish comes around the start-finish line. This will be 2 laps to go. Yeah, this will definitely be 2 laps to go. So that was 3 for those drivers because of how far back they are from our race leader. Down the no-name straight once more. Actually, thrice more. 3 more times through each of these corners. And then it's just twice. I mean, 2 laps to go. Time is running out. If Sancinelli is ever going to pass this number 8 car, he's got to do it quick. Out wide there at West Bend, incidents could be surmounting for these drivers. They're going to have to be careful as these last couple of laps get underway. They can't get too many incidents. 2 laps to go for these drivers as Kevin Parrish will come around in just a few moments and take the final white flag of the season, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. There he is out of the final corner, coming around. Take 1 lap to go for the final time this season. There he goes. Fernandez, Sancinelli, Lobano, that's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Nickham and Thompson, that's 6th and 7th. Scott Brooks has fallen back. He is in 8th position. Where can Sancinelli make a move? It's not going to happen this lap. It looks like he's just too far back in turn 5. He'll have 1 more opportunity. He's not going to make anything happen in turn 7, but he's going to have to use turn 7 to set up for this final lap around if he wants 3rd position. Sancinelli looking, moving around the racetrack. They officially take the white flag, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams, and he's going to look into turn 1. He's just there on Fernandez, can't quite get there, though, to make the move, and Kevin Parrish will come around and take the final checkered flag of the season, make it 4. What a run. Batting 2/3, call that... well, actually, I won't say. I guess we'll round out to 0.67. There we go. This battle, though, not over. Fernandez, Sancinelli, glued to each other for most of, if not the entire race. And Lobano's not far back. 1 more opportunity if Sancinelli's going to get the spot. It's got to happen here in turn 7. Maybe a bump. And that's just simply not going to happen. Going to get the draft out of the corner. He's going to try. Lobano as well, but they're simply not going to be able to make it happen. Checkered flag for each of these drivers across the line. And that is a season as there's a crash into turn number 1. Lobano into... Wow, he's turned up and over, actually. That's a big hit. Not sure how this happened. Thankfully, though, it is a sim. And Chuck won't have to feel that in the morning. So we'll go back and take a look as to how that might have happened. Oh, wow. Was that a message sent by Mike Nickum, or was that simply incidental? I don't know. Here's Mike's onboard. Wow. I don't know if there was a message behind that or if it was just part of what happened. It's a big hit. One more time. Here's the onboard. I have one more replay after this, actually. We'll come around and take a look at your race results, but Lobano here gonna get blindsided. Just watch this onboard. This is a big hit. Wow. One final look at things. Out of nowhere, there's the 57, sends him off into the tire barrier. Up and over, boom, down on the rear wing. I've not seen the Mustang take a hit quite that hard car to car in a long, long time. A lot of panels flying everywhere. Big contact. But Kevin Parrish goes off to victory lane one more time. Race results on your screen as he officially takes home the championship. We knew it was already going to happen. He'd already clinched it, but he had to go through the formalities and take home the championship this evening. Fench and Fernandez, the two Davids that were oh so good throughout this past season of Production Car Challenge, they finished second and third. Sanchinelli there in fourth spot, Lobano fifth, Nickum sixth, then Thompson and Brooks round out your lead lap, with Jeff Baynard and John Casey in ninth and 10th, and unfortunately one driver went 2 laps down. That was Blair Patterson. Every single lap led. It's a perfect race for Kevin Parrish as he rides off into the sunset as the champion. Kevin, another win, wrapping it up now for 2/3 of the season to victory lane. That has to feel good for sure. I don't think that was going to feel bad.
Yeah, it was definitely a good feeling. It's been a long season, lots of things going on, but it's been a good one.
And of course, you guys run a lot of different races throughout the week. You Mustang stands, if you will. You run a lot of Mustang races. Of course, you what is it, Mustang Monday, something like that. You run a bunch of Production Car Challenge and Mustang Fixed races on Monday evening and officials. Then you have the American Muscle Series that you guys run on Tuesdays. Some of these Fridays throughout these last 6 months, you guys come out here for Barber Ford Mustang Club. Where else do you guys run the Mustang? How often are you in this race car throughout the week?
So yeah, I'm in a lot of broadcast Mustangs races. It seems like that's probably all I race, but I actually hop around between a ton of different cars. I just like to promote this car. I feel it's highly underrated.
Well, fair enough. A really good effort here this evening. I mean, literally perfect 48 laps out of 48 laps led. I don't know exactly if there is a future planned here for the Barber Ford Mustang Club, but I feel like there's potential. And we'll spitball here before we close the broadcast. I spitballed myself earlier. And Kevin, I'm going to put you on the spot. I mean, it's the last race, got to do it, right? Put you on the spot. Some ideas maybe down the road for Dustin Slider to maybe take this and keep running with things into 2024. It feels like it could be a little more of a non-formal kind of weekly thing. Get some Mustang guys together, go racing, and just have some fun, and then still have these broadcasted races on occasion. That's at least my thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be interested to see some forced pit stops, either by eliminating the fuel or something of that sort, and then maybe get into kind of throwing some weight in on cars. Like, you finish high, you get additional weight added to your car for the next race. Keep it close.
There you go, Kevin Parrish from Aerokinetics. Another checkered flag for him. Kevin, good talking to you as always.
Always a great time. I'll catch you around.
Kevin Parrish gets the W this evening, and I apologize, guys. That'll be the one interview tonight. I know Ed is in the Discord waiting room. I'm going to be honest with you. The sore throat, swollen throat, We're getting to the end of our talking for the evening, but it has been a pleasure all season long to be joining all of you for this season of Barber Ford Mustang Club Racing. There you see the 6-race schedule, and we'll keep it short, simple, to the point. 6 races done and dusted, 4 of them going to Car 69, and he is your champion by some 500, maybe 600 points when it's all said and done. Here's a look at what to come for Pit Stop TV. Next up, Hickory Motor Speedway next Tuesday. We may have a broadcast, sounding like a possibility, on Sunday evening. Keep an eye out for that. It's to be determined, but regardless, otherwise, next time we are live, it'll be Tuesday at 9:15 Eastern with Lucky Motorsports Street Stock action from Hickory Motor Speedway. They will double up and actually go racing one more time before the Christmas break on December 19th. And smack in the middle of that, we've got racing with GT3 cars back on the back on the channel for the first time in a long time, better part of a year, as we go to Road Atlanta for round 1 of the North American Racing League. That will do it for us this evening and this season. One more thank you goes out to Barber Ford Mustang Club being here and providing this season of racing. And how about a round of applause and a thank you to them as well? A tip of the cap to Barber Ford for stepping up and covering this past season of Production Car Challenge action on Pit Stop TV. 12 weeks went by quickly. And, man, what a pleasure it was to cover 2023 season number 4 for those guys. A pleasure as well to have BK Paints along for the ride and Adminbox helping out here. There's a big raffle happening next week. Check out the Barber Ford Mustang Club Discord. And maybe check in with us on Slider on Facebook and Discord as well for more information there. That'll happen next week on December 15th. A big thank you to Whiplash SimCams, ATVL, and CC's Business. That'll be it for us this evening. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, as always, and it was a pleasure, as always. A big shout out to these groups at the bottom as well. In audio, ATVL, Whiplash SimCams, OBS, and iRacing.com. We'll see you next time. Hickory Motor Speedway Street Stocks on Tuesday evening. We'll see you there.
If you're ready to hit the track in the iRacing Ford FR500S Mustang, then sign up for the Barber Ford Mustang Club today. With great prizes from our awesome sponsors, this league is fast, fun, and best of all, free to race in. Take on 6 races of wheel-to-wheel action, all broadcasted live on Pit Stop TV. As a member, you will receive a $500 voucher to Barber Ford, plus entry into a raffle for a brand new Fanatec H-pattern shifter. Every point you earn on the track is 1 entry into the raffle, meaning you can race your way into a brand new Fanatec shifter drawn on December 15th. Battle your competitors at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, Brands Hatch, and for the finale, Lime Rock Park. Join the Barber Ford Mustang Club at League ID 3350 today.